Hello! I have several projects to share with you today. This is going to be a Sat More Makes hosted by Jillian Norwood. I have been busy all week, and my week started off with making this card here for my friend who just got to adopt her horse. She had been volunteering for this organization called Mustang Journey, and she got to adopt her horse, and she asked me to make a card and wanted it to be like a barn door, and so that's what I was doing with this card. And this paper in the background was a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and I absolutely loved it. And I'll show you, here's some scraps of it. So I had a 12 by 12 and had it in my mind that the rest of my projects this week were going to include this paper. So I only have a little bit left from it, and I don't know where I got it other than I took it in a swap off a swap table. So yeah, so this was my first card that I made for my friend this week. And let me show you the rest of my projects, and I will explain it to you. First of all, I do a Pick a Winner challenge once a week on my channel, and this will be my 9th episode. And what I did was ask my family and friends to fill out little papers with their name and a noun or a verb. I folded them up, put them in a box, but I did not look at them unless you are one of my followers and let me know you wanted me to throw an idea in the box. I don't know what I'm going to be pulling each week. So this last week I was to do a card with a punch and traveling. So my niece wanted traveling, and her son Christian had written down the word punch. So I thought, I am sure as a little boy he was trying to be funny, but I went to my punches. And so in my project I used these 2 little flower punches. I used this quite curvy Stampin' Up set. There's a little bit of a glare. There we go. This is a retired set, and it has dies and these little birds. And I really have never used this, so I decided I was going to use this. And birds travel. So I thought, okay, I'm going to use the birds, and I'm going to use this beautiful, I guess like fern, crawling fern or something. This plant, and I also had stamped and colored this. And then I felt like, well, it's not just enough that birds travel. I decided I would put some postmarks. This is a hip stamp hooray, and I got it for $1.49 on clearance. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby a couple years ago. So I used some of the postage marks on my card. And I used this 1997 Stampin' Up, this little background. I bought these, and I use them all the time. They're a great filler. I think everybody should have some just dots and splashes, things like that, as part of their stamp stash. All right? And I also used some of the sentiments. This was a paper pumpkin, My Wonderful Family, from April 2020. And I have to say, I did not buy this set. I didn't order it from the company. I bought it when I was at, it's called Stamp Away, where all these companies come and you can buy things. Well, a Stampin' Up demonstrator was there that day and had the rest of her kit in this case. And so I think I bought it for $5, but I had loved the stamps in this set because it had a tree and the sentiments. And then it comes with all of these other pieces too that you get. She even had a card put together. So I just used the sentiments from this set today. Okay. And then I felt like I needed a postage die too. So I used the largest postage die. I thought that's part of traveling, mail traveling around. So this is a current Stampin' Up die set, perennial postage, and I've been using these quite a bit. They're really fun, a fun shape. So that's my products, and here's the first card. I made it a Mother's Day card for my mom. Now, I really took a long time making this card, everybody, because I was determined to use this paper, but it was just too busy. I tried everything to make it work, and my little birds were just getting lost. So I colored them with alcohol markers. I stamped the postage marks and the splatter of dots all on this paper. And the paper I finally settled on, I had bought these mats. These are creative memory mats. When I used to scrapbook all the time, they would sell products where you could just mount your picture. And so these were great for that. And they have journal pages. But I went and found just kind of a plain one with this peachy color and thought that went really well. And you can see I put some lace from my stash, and I really had to play around with the flowers. They were not really working for me, and I probably would not have gone ahead and used them if it wasn't for the challenge kind of forcing me to, because I don't know how cohesive it really is. I mean, I like how the card turned out, and I found this just strip of diamond paper in my stash. I think it's some creative memories also. But this is a stamp from that paper pumpkin, the Happy Mother's Day, and I'm glad You Are My Family is part of that. And this is how I finished the inside, with a little piece of that paper and the postage die. So I had to really work it. I have had this in my stash for years and years, probably 10. And I have this little bit of this artsy, I guess. It is, I think it's made with alcohol and shimmer. That's all that I think is in here. But it really, I wanted to do something to give it another level, you know, just to have a little more sparkle. So I sprayed this on my card after I had it all together, and you can see the shine. I like it. So I put some pearls, and that's my card for my card challenge. I think it turned out pretty darn nice. And it is going to be my mom's Mother's Day card. So let me show you the next products I used for my next card. I wanted my cards to all have a spring theme, and like I said, I really wanted to use this paper and finally made it work. So let me show you. Since for this card I was thinking, you know, not everybody would have something like this in their stash, but they might have some branch dies. So I thought you could make something similar to what I'm going to be doing if you had some branches in your stash, some twigs. And I bought this Sizzix, these Thinlits 661-206 several years ago, and I use them all the time, and I feel like I don't need to go out and buy a bunch of other branches because there were so many different styles, and this is Tim Holtz Alterations. So for my project, I'm using this branch here. All right. And then this again is a paper pumpkin. And I didn't like, I often do not buy the sets. I mean, I ordered it, paper pumpkin, for a year, everyone, and I love them. And I recommend it to people that are starting out because it gives you everything you need to make cards. But I was at a crafting garage sale, and someone was selling these for like 50 cents. And I remember my friend having this set and thought it was so cute. And I wanted the little bow and the eggs, the cute little bunny faces and the ears. So I bought it. And I've used it a couple times, so I don't feel like I'm out anything. But I wanted to use this Happy Spring. And on my other card, I use Happy Easter and I'm glad you're my friend. So just these sentiments alone was worth 50 cents, right? Oh, and I often keep these little sets. I took apart a photo album that was just a flip album that my friend was getting rid of, and I just took it apart, and it's great because I keep them in a shoebox, and I have it in a nice little enclosed case for it. Just another little, just so you know. All right, and I also, these are Stampin' Up as well. Oops, it's caught on my card. These are Stampin' Up as well, and I used this little one here. And on my other project, I used one of these. So, here it is. Here's the card, everybody. For this one, I used, I thought I pulled it out. Yes, I did. I used this piece of pattern paper. See this? I cut the branches out in this paper, and then I took an alcohol marker and went over the center of them lightly just so that it had more of a branch look. But isn't that cool how the leaves turned out from using this scrap of pattern paper? I just loved it. So I cut out 4 of them. I layered these 2. And then I just placed my little birds in there. And I used these dies here. These are another Sizzix framelit die that I used. These are 664793. But these octagons, isn't that what they are? No. I forget. Forgive me. I've been crafting all day. So for this card, you see where I stamped the Happy Spring, and I have this little button in my stash, and put some twine, and added the lace. And here's where I used that paper in the background. And having this panel on top of it was just too busy. So I took another one of those mats that I had talked about and put it over, and it just, you know, knocked the color back enough to where it turned out great. It really did. And all this ink, this was tea dye, and I sponged in the brown vintage photo. So I really like how that one turned out too. And for this one, I remembered to glue my strip down on the paper before I cut it out so that it cut at the edges. I like that look better. So that's my second card that I wanted to do for spring. And then my final card, let me get some things out of the way. My final card, I was doing a challenge to make a bridge card. My friend Laura Mester, who's a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, does card challenges. And the current challenge was to make a bridge card. Now, I love bridge cards, and I want to show you. I really like to make them at Christmas time. So I had previously made these. See that? And I like to put tea lights in them. And I made this one. So these are some Christmas cards I have made. But so I love bridge cards, and I'll put the directions on my blog as to how to put a bridge card together, because they're actually very simple. So for this one, I wanted to use those birds on all of my cards that I was making. So I needed to include him there, and I used this punch. This is a Stampin' Up! Twig punch. Everybody should have some twig punches and some twig thinlits in your stash. This bunny rabbit came from this Fable Friends. It's a retired Stampin' Up! Product. But any bunny would work, you guys. And then this little basket from 1997. It's Stampin' Up! Also. I cut it. I colored. Everything's colored with Copics, but I added some white gel pen so it had like a white ruffle on Peter Rabbit's little top there. And let me tell you about my little basket. I wanted to cut this out, and I didn't want to use, an X-Acto knife. I'm not that good with them. So I just clipped into the basket handle and then fussy cut around. And then I used a bow from a Christmas set that had a little bow and glued it back together right there. And so that's how I handled that. And then here's my Happy Easter, and I put some twine. But bridge cards are really, really simple to make. And like I said, I'll put the directions. But when you go to mail it, you just fold it like this. And like I said, little tea lights work great in there. And then here's how I finished the back with one of those doily dies from Stampin' Up! So those were my makes this week, and I hope you hop around and see what everyone else has been making too. Before I go, I need to pick for my next card challenge. So I've done 9 of them. I'm not sure how long I'm going to do it. As long as it's still fun, you guys, I'll keep doing it. So let's see what I have for next time. All right. Oops, sorry. Don't want to bump. Okay. So I have to have a candle. Layla wants me to have a candle. A candle with, what is it going to be, you guys? A candle and, come on, open up. Oh, love. So Sandra at Televere Village Rose. Sandra, you wanted me to have love. So I'm going to have a candle and love. That'll be fun, you guys. All right. Bye for now.